Let's talk about the greatest screenwriter of all time, Billy Wilder. Let's specifically talk about his unmatched dialogue chops.
Real diamonds. They must be worth their weight in gold.
This man was a wizard of wit who enriched cinema with decades of brilliant writing.
I can handle big news and little news. And if there's no news, I'll go out and bite a dog.
But how did he do it?
I wonder if I know what you mean.
I wonder if you wonder.
To find out, we'll analyze the dialogue of Ninotchka,
Did I hear something about jewels?
the Ernst Lubitsch directed masterpiece he penned alongside Charles Brackett and Walter Reisch.
Right bunch of fellas.
A brief, spoiler-free synopsis for context. It's right before World War II. 3 Russian delegates, Bulyanov, Ironov and Kopalsky, arrive in Paris to sell some royal jewels whose previous owner was the Grand Duchess Swana.
Oh, I'm so bored with this face. Wish I had someone else's face. Whose face would you have if you had your choice?
She finds out and sends her lover, Count Leon Dalgou, who's my idol,
You're very sure of yourself, aren't you?
Well, nothing's happened recently to shake my self-confidence.
to keep them from selling.
I suppose you expect us to hand over the jewels, huh?
Oh, no, I'm not a highwayman. Just a nuisance.
Bulyanov, Ironov and Kowalski become best friends with Leon because he's so good to them.
Oh, Leonechka, why are you so good to us? Why are you so good?
That's very nice, boy. Now, wait a minute, boy.
They are seduced by the glories of capitalism and Moscow sends an envoy extraordinary to finish the sale. It's the model Soviet Ninotchka Yakushova.
The last mass trials were a great success. There are going to be fewer but better Russians.
Leon wastes no time in trying to win her affection and soon she's a whole new person. The secret that makes the dialogue of Ninotchka so sparkling is the deceivingly simple fact that words have meanings. Dialogue isn't used to merely advance the story. It is a thing of beauty, a joy forever, in and of itself.
Thank you, Leon. Thank you, masses. Can I make a speech now?
Please.
Most writers view dialogue as simple pillars. They sustain the ceiling and that's it. They're there because they need to be there. But Billy Wilder crafts pillars that are as decked and adorned as any architectural masterpiece. You want to admire them, touch them, take them home. Oh, and they also hold the ceiling. Great. Let's start off simple. Punchlines. Billy Wilder was never afraid to let his characters tell jokes.
A man comes into a restaurant.
I don't mean only jokes, but information that ends with a funny finish. Something that could be told out of context and still get a chuckle.
Do you want to live in a hotel where you press for the hot water and cold water comes? And when you press for the cold water, nothing comes at all.
Characters often speak, leaving room for another character to conclude the story with a zinger.
This man is very old. You shouldn't make him work.
He takes good care of that.
He looks sad. Do you whip him?
No, but the mere thought makes my mouth water.
Or ask a question that will lead to a punchline.
Why should you carry other people's bags?
Well, that's my business, madame.
That's no business. That's social injustice.
That depends on the tip.
He did it throughout his career.
Did you pay him?
What do you think?
The same thing happened to me once with a doctor in the middle of an operation. Do you realize I'm probably the only living man with just one tonsil?
You know, skeet shooting, dog breeding, water polo.
Water polo, isn't it terribly dangerous?
I'll say I had 2 ponies drowned under me.
Sprinkle our Parmigiano, we drink our wine, we make our love.
What do you do in the evening?
In the evening, we go home to our wives.
His exchanges are rich in verbal sparring.
What are you after?
Must one always be after something?
When a character speaks a line, the other character will choose a specific word and throw it back with another meaning.
Well, gentlemen, I'm afraid our rates are rather high.
Why should you be afraid?
It gives the conversation rhythm.
We'll talk to a lawyer. Yes?
All right, you talk to a lawyer and I'll talk to a judge.
One line links to the other line fluidly.
After all, we have to uphold the prestige of Russia.
All right, let's uphold it for another 10 minutes.
When Ninotchka speaks, Leon twists every word he can out of her mouth to make their chat flirtatious.
A tiny cog in the great wheel of evolution.
You're the most adorable cog I've ever seen.
In this scene, Ninotchka is leaving. Notice how my man Leon reshapes her exact words into new, more favorable meanings. Forget?
Let's forget we ever met.
No, I have a much better suggestion. Let's forget the telephone ever rang. I never heard that you're Yakushova.
Fight?
I was sent here by my country to fight you.
All right, fight me. Fight me as much as you want. Only fight me tomorrow morning.
Represent.
You represent White Russia and I represent Red Russia.
No, tonight let's not represent anybody but ourselves.
But you don't need to throw a word back immediately.
Again.
You might keep it in your back pocket.
Again.
Let's call it the delayed sparring, or throwback humor. A character says something now.
Your type will soon be extinct.
Sometime later, another character throws the words back with a new meaning or in a new context.
I'm glad I saw it before becoming extinct.
And when the throwback humor is used more than once,
If we say that Leon will be sent to Siberia.
And if we have to go to Siberia.
it becomes a recurring joke.
I always said it would be Siberia.
Like a good Russian, Ninotchka calls Leon's butler Little Father.
Go to bed, little father.
Like a good jokester, Leon will call him the exact same thing whenever he can.
Go to bed, little father. Go to bed.
Calm down, girl. There have been several telephone calls.
Go to bed, little father.
Ninotchka tells Leon she was a sergeant in the Russian Civil War.
I was a sergeant in the 3rd Cavalry Brigade.
And Leon will spend the rest of the movie calling her a sergeant.
Never did I dream I could feel like this toward a sergeant.
It emphasizes the absurdity of such a beautiful woman in such a position. And it's like you and the characters are sharing an inside joke.
I beg you, sergeant. Smile.
They're not just plot cogs, they're your friends.
What a gesture for a sergeant.
And here's something funny. Her sergeant's story is exposition. Billy Wilder can deliver exposition without you even noticing, because it's disguised as whatever he desires.
If I stay here a week, I will cost the Russian people 7 cows. Who am I to cost the Russian people 7 cows?
Exposition can highlight a character's personality.
Instead of sending my report to Moscow, I go down and buy a ridiculous hat.
Exposition can lead to emotion. When they first meet, Leon is teasing. Ninotchka is only interested in technical data.
I'm interested only in the shortest distance between these 2 points. Must you flirt?
Well, I don't have to, but I find it natural.
Suppress it.
I'll try.
In the next scene, he reads her technical data about the Eiffel Tower.
There's an elevator included in the price of admission.
When she's finally leaving Paris, she recollects that technical data, which is now drenched in sentiment.
But there is an elevator included in the price of admission.
Exposition can serve as a springboard for humor. Here we're told that Count Rakoning is in a hurry because he's in between courses.
The Count says if it could be as soon as possible. It's luncheon time and he's just between courses.
Even information as useless as this one can cause some light humor when repeated.
Down in Count Rakoning's between courses.
Exposition can be weaponized into a motif.
The closest I ever came to champagne was in a newsreel. The wife of some president was throwing it at the battleship.
Ninotchka tells Leon a bit about her backstory.
I was brought up on goat's milk, had a ration of vodka in the army, and now champagne.
He rephrases it into alliteration.
From goats to grapes. That's drinking in the right direction.
We get a throwback line some minutes later.
Something is the matter.
You just made that trip from goats to grapes a little too quickly.
And later still he gives her a personalized present. The milk motif was born as simple character backstory.
I was brought up on goat's milk.
It was stirred into an alliterative phrase.
From goats to grapes.
And it finally flourished into a symbol of love and respect.
Your present just arrived. It's very silly and very wonderful.
With the Wilder way, not a word is wasted.
It's good.
When Leon and Ninotchka discuss the imaginary house where they'll live, even the imaginary colors mentioned have meaning.
Are we going to build our little house?
Yes, a little white house.
No, not white.
All right, we'll make it red.
Let's take a detour on Billy Wilder's Sabrina. She's the chauffeur's daughter who's in love with Playboy David. Her father tells her to get over him by using a commonplace.
Don't reach for the moon, child.
Later, Sabrina makes a friend who twists the reach for the moon cliché into a new literal meaning.
Have you not heard? We are building rockets to reach the moon.
And soon, David gets smitten by Sabrina. Her father still disapproves, and she brings back the hackneyed metaphor with a new twist.
The moon's reaching for me.
Billy's typewriter journeyed his reach for the moon imagery around the moon. It started as the tritest of fatherly advices, got revamped into a scientific certainty, and landed as a poetic metaphor. Billy has a way with words. By the way, I already made a full 22-minute video about Sabrina, and a video about witty dialogue. And since we're here, like and subscribe, it truly helps. I'm also on Patreon. Moving on. The diversion was to better introduce the subject of wit.
Must be lots of fun to be with a woman like that, so witty and...
Wit is the ability to see and explain the world from the least obvious point of view.
The only thing we have in common is our lawsuit.
Treating the concrete as abstract and the abstract as concrete.
We have the high ideal, but they have the climate.
It's comparing apples and democracies.
What's remarkable about it?
What's not the structure? It's the spirit that dwells within it.
For the wit, the denotative and the connotative are one and the same.
Well, that good old man believes in food just as you believe in Karl Marx.
When Leon advises the Grand Duchess to sell a book about her past, here's how he phrases it as a witty antithesis.
Oh, Leon.
But darling, we won't have to worry about our future if you're willing to raffle off your past.
He treats the immaterial, her past, as a touchable thing that can be sold. No, better than sold, raffled off. A term with more personality. Using the same word to mean two different things is witty.
I may run out of money, but you have already run out of bread.
But when one is physical and the other intangible, it's wittier.
It's always good luck to launch something with champagne. A battleship or an evening.
What is wit if not a poetic view of language?
Ninotchka, it's midnight. One half of Paris is making love to the other half.
I got the feeling I need to clear something up. In old movies, when characters say make love, they actually mean to woo.
He's making violent love to me, Mother. You're shaking the house down. Stop it.
Oh, let them alone. I wish I was up there with them.
Leon teaches Ninotchka to see the world through the lens of poetry.
It's midnight. Look at the clock. One hand has met the other hand. They kiss. Isn't that wonderful?
That's the way a clock works. What's wonderful about it?
What is radio music? It's music that many people hear at once. It's something shared with strangers. That's how Ninotchka sees it.
Radio or records?
Not radio. Let's have music that's just for ourselves.
Romantic, without a milligram of cheese.
I'll play it very softly, because I have things to tell you about which I can't shout.
What does Leon want to tell Ninotchka? A lesser writer would make it a statement, not our brilliant Billy.
Darling,
He tells her a kiss.
You see, I couldn't shout that.
What is a photo if not a symbol of someone?
Leon, don't ever ask me for a picture of myself.
In almost religious fashion, Ninotchka relates a photo of herself to her own physical presence that needs to breathe.
I couldn't bear the thought of being shut up in a drawer. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't stand it.
Oh, darling.
When our doves discuss the date when Ninotchka will leave Paris, Leon similarly connects the symbolic to the thing itself.
There'll be no Thursday for us. Next week or any other week. I won't let it happen. I'll tear it out of the calendar.
Tear the page out, and the day will never come. The concrete and the immaterial.
There it is. Thursday. You can't rip it out of the week.
Billy's characters are poets, and they are thoroughly logical poets.
Keeping my body fit, keeping my mind alert, and keeping the landlord appeased. That's a full-time job.
Here's how Ninotchka tells Leon she loves him. We'll examine the line as a chart.
Leon, I want to tell you something.
Something will be specified.
Which I thought I would never say.
Now it will be specified further.
Which I thought nobody ever should say.
The specificities are then given a reason.
Because I didn't think it exists.
Finally, there's an ending.
And Leon, I can't say it.
These characters glow with elegance, eloquence, and intelligence. All delivered casually, not a fuss in sight. They also have superpowers.
Your cornea is excellent.
Your cornea is terrific.
This is what's needed to evaluate how good is a cornea. If you can eyeball it, you're an X-Man. My ophthalmologist sister demanded this note. Enormous credit, of course, to the great Greta Garbo and Melvin Douglas for their effortless poise.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Lubitsch, naturally, for his, shall we say, touch.
I do not deny its beauty.
Walter Reisch and Brackett's dazzling screenplay shows the dizzy heights movie dialogue can achieve. And all one needs to do is choose precisely every single word, bring back past words for added humor, twist and retwist each possible meaning, find the physical in the intangible and the intangible in the physical, both at once whenever possible, build humor and character out of exposition, allow one's characters to deliver punchlines, fill everything up with rhetorical devices, and that's all.
Give me another double brandy.
When I watch Ninotchka, I feel like getting dressed in a tux, waltzing with a perfect posture, chin up, sipping champagne while conversing witty banter. When I watch a modern romantic comedy, I feel like I should re-watch Ninotchka. Thank you for watching.
No, I can't leave you. I won't, not yet. Not until I've made you laugh at least once.
Ha ha. Now go back to your table.